Hello and welcome to another Modswell video. I'm your host Maxwell. Today we're going to be taking a look at my top 5 mods of the week. These are all available on Xbox where I do my videos, and all but one are on PC as well. It's been a bit of a quiet one this week, but what we have got has been excellent, so let's take a look at those. In 5th, I've decided to go for Elemental Gems. This mod is going to add in multiple new crafting stations to the world space, known as the Daedric Altar. At the altar, you can create new elemental gems which will act similarly to a magic scroll and allow you to perform magic without expending magicka. In the case of these elemental gems, you'll be able to summon Antronauts, which will remain with you for 3 minutes. This is the kind of mechanic that can seriously help out any mages struggling for magicka, but don't want to switch to a weapon for role-playing's sake. They will also suit an explorer or intellectual style build who doesn't want to straight up use magic but does love summons. To make one of these gems, you'll first need to collect a few things though, specifically a soul gem in varying sizes and an ingredient that relates to the thing being summoned. For example, a Storm Antronaut would require Void Souls. This is going to be a great way to use up items in your inventory and bring vendors back into rotation. This mod really is a ton of fun for many styles of character, and you'll be able to slot it into your order for the minuscule cost of 13.4 kilobytes, which is going to make it extremely easy to work around. It's an absolute gem of a mod. Pardon the pun. Up next is Enemy Health Indicators. This mod is doing exactly what it advertises, but I will dig a little deeper. As you're walking around with your weapon sheath, this mod is doing literally nothing. But once that weapon is drawn, you'll see colour indicators over the top of enemies' heads. Each colour notes a different health percentage to allow you to better plan your route of attack. Blue means they have 200% health, green means 75 to 200, yellow is 50 to 75%, orange is 25 to 50, red is 10 to 25%, and blinking red means they have under 10% of their health remaining. This has been extremely handy for someone like me who plays without their HUD, or for people who love Scry UI but miss the enemy health bars. It's going to help people in many ways. You now have access to useful information on every enemy in the area. You'll know if they boost themselves, if they've been in a fight already, and which to attack first to thin the herd. This is currently found in the work in progress section, so to get your hands on it you're going to have to head over to the Bethnet and favourite the mod, then you can download it onto your Xbox. Unfortunately this isn't currently available for PC, but maybe in time. The last thing to mention is the cost, which is really surprising me. At a mere 287.7 kilobytes, this mod is doing an awful lot of work, and from an RPG perspective, I think it looks and plays fantastically. Moving on to 3rd, where I've opted for CG4 Trees and Bushes. This mod is adding in a ton of new flora around the map using assets from 6 different tree models, and a bunch of bushes too. This adds far more variety to the wilds and gives proper disparity between what you're seeing. I'm currently using this alongside SFO Definitive, which on occasion the pairing has seemed a large step away from one another, but overall I am pleased with the look. However, if you want to take a step closer, something like Oblivion Trees would really suit these new models and have more uniformity of tree whilst retaining the variance of style or model. Please note, if you're using a ton of world edits and tree additions, then this is likely not going to work perfectly. This can vary from some major clipping to potential crashes, so always be aware when adding new things to the world, but that's a possibility. However, so far so good for me. I've been treating this mod like a newer version of Trees add-on, which is one of my favourite Tree Edition mods. However, at 22.4 megabytes, this is considerably cheaper. The big difference between the two is LOD and patch mods though. As this is the light version, there isn't currently a LOD in place, which is great for cost, but there can of course be pop-ins from time to time. So far, this hasn't actually bothered me as the quality of tree is so high that it more than makes up for that. If you're building a forest, this is definitely a mod to check out. Moving on to 2nd. Here I've chosen Train and Study. This mod is a real game changer in terms of immersion and realism. It performs many functions and it does each of them extremely well. First of all, training dummies will allow you to level your abilities with 1- or 2-handed weapons, bows and crossbows, and even magic. They're called training dummies, but never helped you train, which has always seemed really weird to me. There are admittedly tons of mods like this, however I think this one is doing everything better for a few reasons. The dummies level you extremely slowly, however you can interact with them and set your character to train for several hours at a time. This is basically going to allow you to wait in a new manner and gain some leveling assistance at the same time. But there is a downside to this. Naturally, if you train at something for too long, you're going to fatigue. And with this mod, that means you're going to be left with a depleted stat. If you're using a weapon, your stamina will be depleted. or magicka if you're casting spells. To gain the stats in question back, you're going to have to go to sleep. This basically stops you from spamming training and forces you to do what anyone in this situation would physically have to do. Take a break, which is absolutely genius. But I said earlier, this mod does more than just change your interactions with training dummies, it also changes how you approach skill books. Let's say you've picked up one that would teach you how to sneak that little bit better. In the base game, you can read it and within moments you will have all the information and a new level up in your skills. With this mod, your character can study them for several hours and slowly level up in the associated skill. All you have to do is open the book and choose to study up on the subject. Just like before, you'll find your stats lowered as mental fatigue kicks in. Your maximum magicka will be depleted until you're fully rested by taking a good long sleep. This mod has to be my favourite training edit mod. And whilst it does leave you with a chance to blast through some early levels, it's going to slow you down in the later game that little bit. And due to the downsides, I found it to be extremely well balanced. Another excellent thing about this mod is the cost, which is a minuscule 132.6 kilobytes, meaning you can slot it into any order very easily. This is going to suit a ton of book mods, especially ones that change how certain things are done, like better spell learning. It will change your interactions with things and how you progress as a character to be entirely more believable, and for that reason, this is a must-have mod. It's going to suit the hyper-realistic playthroughs and let you further understand the backstory for your character and where they learn to hone their skills before adventuring. And now it's time for my favourite mod of the week, and this one is a biggie. I've chosen the Lost Wonders of Mzark Special Edition. This mod is adding in quite a lot. 4 brand new quests with hours of new content to play through, new fully voiced characters and scripted events, new puzzles to solve with excellent rewards, a huge new Dwemer dungeon with brand new assets and scenes to explore, brand new enemies to fight along the way including bosses, new weapons, armor and clothes to use around Skyrim, new inventive spells with a Dwemer theme, a brand new artifact to help you along the way, and honestly, just a whole ton more. This is the kind of quest mod set up for those of you who love solving riddles and puzzles, being rewarded for your brains as well as your brawn. Fighting enemies is about more than just your raw power here. You have to think through the actions that you make, as one false one can give them the advantage, and have you in a horrible position ready to be disposed of with absolute ease. The mod itself feels like proper endgame content and suits the style of Skyrim to a T. The lore and stories written around this quest get you fully invested in the scenarios and excited for what comes next. Often when I play new quests, I can be left that little bit disappointed. They can be way too Skyrim or even too removed from Skyrim, but this one has struck a really good balance. It finds a way to fit into the game without feeling like a rinse and repeat of the same old mechanics. To enter this dungeon, you're going to have to head to the north of the map, just past Dawnstar. Once you've found it, a map marker will appear, but until then you have to search the northern shore for its entrance, but honestly, you're not going to miss it. For those of you who do need a helping hand, the Nexus page has a really useful image for where it is on the map. However, I'm not going to show that to avoid spoilers for players wanting to discover it for themselves, which I highly advise you do, as every part of this mod is meticulously made to challenge the mind of the player. It would be a shame to let any of that go to waste. This mod truly is a wonder, and giving it a playthrough is certainly worthwhile. And as an added bonus, surprisingly it's far easier to fit into orders than most quest mods of this magnitude. At only 75.7 megabytes, I'm actually going to call this cheap. You only have to refer to the list of features to know that is the case. A full arsenal, voiced characters and multiple quests. It's a no-brainer. You should be trying this mod out. Honestly, it really is a challenge trying to advertise a mod like this, as giving away information is kind of what I'm supposed to do. So if anyone does need help, I suggest joining my Discord where we can talk more openly without spoiling it for others. Shameless plug. Before I end, and yeah, I know I said I wouldn't mention it again, but I am a filthy liar, which is obviously just a joke. But the Buy My Coffee account is actually working now, as is my Patreon, which I set up to get around the fact that that wasn't working. They literally went down as soon as I advertised them last week, and they caused me many hours of talking to their support team, which was, just so much fun. But it is sorted now, and I put the links in the description of the video. On that, however, I am going to call it. I'm doing a few things in the community right now, such as moderating on the Skyrim Mods Xbox subreddit, where every week I'm doing an Ask Me Anything where I try and help with mod advice, fixing load orders, or helping build them, and basically all things modding. I also have a Discord server which I think has just under 800 people in it right now, and we are trying our best to troubleshoot for everyone in there as well. You'll find a link to both of those pages as well as all of the mods mentioned in today's video in the description below. If this has helped, I would of course really appreciate those likes, comments, and naturally subscriptions. They really do help me a ton with YouTube's algorithm, which pushes my work out even further. And if you've made it this far, I want to thank you, as average view time is so pivotal in the eyes of the almighty algorithm. And seriously, thank you for watching, and I really do hope to see you in the next one.